Walmart Family Mobile just got even better. Better savings. Get unlimited plans starting at $24.88 a month. All powered by T-Mobile's nationwide network. Visit myfamilymobile.com to learn more. That's myfamilymobile.com. Always refer to the latest terms and conditions of service at myfamilymobile.com.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hi folks, this is Mark Wilmot, singer-songwriter of the Redstone Ramblers, owner of Trademark Instrument Repair, and proud supporter of the Paige Roberts Show on Intercom Radio. Do you want that old acoustic to play like butter again? You want to get that Strat you got from your dad hot-rodded? Or maybe you want to put a pickup in your banjo? You can contact me for all your TLC. I'll be there for your instrument when it needs me. You can check me out at Trademark Instrument Repair on Facebook. Thanks again for listening, and remember, support your local songwriter.
We're playing tunes that make you grin. Our music's better than it's ever been. So think of us when you need a show. We're at WIRN, Intercom Radio.
What my daddy passed down to me, loaded with songs and always in tune, ready whenever it need be. Steady fingers are poised at the ready, never more than a downbeat away, finding their way on a rosewood deck, dancing round the harmony, playing home on the range, where I lay my head down, where my darling nestles next to me.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Paige Roberts Show. It is Tuesday, April the 10th, 2018, and this is Featured Artist Tuesday night. Philadelphia-based award-winning singer-songwriter, worship leader, teacher, speaker, coach, husband, father. Whether you know him as one or more of these people, you know his heart. You know his love for life. I have on the phone with me Eddy Mann, and that is eddymann.com. I have Eddy on the phone with me. Good evening, Eddy, and welcome back. I'm so excited about tonight.
Hey, Paige. It's good to be with you.
Awesome. I know I was talking to you briefly before we came on the air, and this is a good question, and it ties everything in. I know we usually start off, and I guess we could do that, but I think everybody knows. Does everybody know who Eddy Mann is? I kind of threw everything off, but I don't know. We're going to go into who Eddy Mann is, so I think I'm going to hold off on the introduction of Eddy Mann in the beginning because I want to include it somewhere in the middle. If that makes sense. So we keep them interested, Eddy.
All right.
Somebody posted on our post that okay, and our listener is Scott Whistler. I don't know if you know Scott.
Scott.
So here is the question: what was your greatest inspiration for releasing Simple Things? See there? It ties it all. See why I wanted to include that in the beginning, because it just ties everything neatly together.
Absolutely. Did you say that listener was Scott Wister?
Wister or Wister, yes. Mhm.
Wister, yeah. Well, Scott's a fine drummer himself. If it's the same Scott Wister, who I haven't seen in a long, long time, but I have a lot of fond memories of. And we haven't actually spoken together for quite a few years, so interesting question. He would know how to get to the heart of things with me. You know, my wife and I, we like to go to art exhibits and things like that off and on when we get an opportunity, because we're always looking for things that will inspire us creatively. And it could be, it really could be anything. So we don't shut the door to any opportunity to be inspired. So we were actually at the Philadelphia Museum of Art in the spring a few years ago, and we walked into a wing of the art museum, which we had been in before, but for whatever reason, the paintings and things on the wall there just really were singing out to me. And it was a little section of the art museum that had the works of Thomas Akins, who was a Philadelphia artist. And I was just I didn't know exactly at the time that it would be an album or a concept album like this, because that's not usually what I do. But as we left that night, and I kept thinking about these paintings that I saw. So I made another trip down right before we took like a little holiday vacation, and I really spent a lot of time just sitting and looking at these things, and in between the brush strokes, I was seeing storylines and hearing melodies. And so when we went away, which was really supposed to be a time away, I ended up writing almost the whole time. And but I wrote very loosely, just trying to find some simple melodies and simple lyric ideas. I did a little. I mean, the first thing I did was did some research on Thomas Akins to find the period in which he lived, in which these paintings were conceived, and it's really late 1800s, very early 1900s. So the paintings all speak to a different time than we live in now, a different lifestyle. So that genuinely started me writing writing from a different viewpoint. Certainly writing in early 20th century and even late 19th century. Just the opening cut we just listened to, when the Cowboys sing, that's our reference for Cowboys today is not the same as it was 100 years ago.
Right.
These were guys to look up to. These were to some people these were the heroes of the day back in the late 19th century. So when I saw the particular painting for When the Cowboys Sings, all I could think about was people might have looked up to this particular person, but his lifestyle was difficult. He was probably away from home a lot, depending on what he was doing, what kind of work he was doing. And the idea that, his biggest comfort and his biggest security, or the thing he could rely on the most, might have been, a guitar that he had with him when he was traveling. So each song, each song that actually was finished and put on the album really just was came from a different place. I was really inspired from something completely different this time around, and it actually took a couple years to get the project finished. There's a quote that I include in the liner notes on the album from Thomas Akins that in life or in mathematics, we're always trying to reduce things to the simplest number. And for him, painting was like that. It was reducing things to its simplest form. And I really tried to hold on to that when I recorded this album. Spent a lot of time simplifying the harmony and simplifying the melody and trying to keep the words as simple as possible. Because by the time I was done, the production on this album is probably larger than some of the things I've done lately. But at the core of it, the songs are really very simple and easy to play.
I'm just really intrigued, and I think this is so Eddy Mann. Well, when I listen to your songs, and I'm not saying all of them are ballad songs, but I like the concept because it does tell a story and maybe an ongoing story with the song,
Absolutely.
And that's what I like. That's what I like about your singing. So yes, it's easy to follow along with it.
Well, that's again trying to. We tend to make our lives more difficult than they have to be, and we certainly live in a lifestyle today that I don't think is nearly as simple as it used to be. And I know kind of every generation looking back says that when they were younger, life was easier, it was simpler. But I think a lot of times we miss a lot of joys in life because we overcomplicate things. We miss a lot of the simple joys and things that are just, sometimes right at our fingertips, right at our doorstep, and we're too busy doing other things, or our mind is somewhere else. So the concept behind it was a fresh one for me, and like I said earlier, an inspiring one for me. Even the artwork on the album, I was just trying to find a graphic that looked good, or a font that looked good rather, when I was designing the artwork for the album, and that's all I had was the font work. And I remember showing it to my youngest daughter, who's an art student, and she looked at it and she said, "Wow, that's a great idea." And I said, "What?" She said, "Oh, that's it, right? It's just because it's real simple. It's just a white background with the words on it." And I thought, "Yeah, that's what." So it was one of those moments where I wanted to take all the responsibilities. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Wasn't quite in my mind.
Eddy, right down to the album cover. He got that. I'm like, I get it. I get it.
I probably would. More than likely, I would have made it more difficult and more complicated had I not had someone else's input that just said, that's it, right? Like, yeah, that's right. That's it. That's what I meant.
I try to, as I have been reading over all of your information, I'm sitting here trying to picture Eddy Mann, well, and sometimes Susan, your wife, and through your eyes and through your heart, and trying to picture you walking through the museum and looking at the paintings. I'm like, I said, that's got to be serene and just very relaxing to look at those and to have all that. Yeah.
We're fortunate in our lifestyle that we can make a trip like that on a late afternoon on a weekday when a lot of people are working and there's not a lot of people around, which just allows for a lot more freedom. I think to appreciate the artwork or the creation itself, because there's less things to distract you, there's less people to see and less sounds to hear. So it's a little bit easier to just be alone with the work and just kind of absorb it and allow it to stir you up a little bit.
So if you're out there listening and you want to follow along, then do you want to give the website, Eddy, of where they can follow along with the pictures and the paintings while we are talking about
my website is just eddymann.com, EDDYMANN.com. Right now, the album it's available everywhere. It's available in places I didn't know existed. That's just the way the world is today, the internet today. You find your stuff in countries on websites that you didn't know even remotely existed. But it's available on my website right now at a fan's price. You can pay whatever you want for it. And there is a liner note page which allows you to actually see the paintings themselves and be able to read the lyric as you're listening to the song. And I again, that's something I haven't done a lot in the past, but I just thought it was really important this time, because I think that the album works on a couple different levels. It allows people to maybe who haven't appreciated art aficionados, don't go and haven't studied art or don't follow it. It allows them to appreciate artwork in a different manner. It's kind of working backwards, that I used, Thomas Eakins experienced or saw something that inspired him to create the painting. And now 100 to 125 years later, I can look at the painting and be inspired to create something new from his work. And so I think hopefully it's encouraging to people who may not frequent art exhibits or any kind of media, any kind of creative media, to check it out, because you just never know what's going to move you at any given time.
Well, like I said, I have been very intrigued in listening to the music and looking at all of the pictures that you had on your site. So, y'all, please go in and look over there, and we're going to be talking about some of that tonight. And if you want to call in tonight, you can call in at 646-668-8941. So let's do this. Now, I don't know how you wanted to do things, but let's do this. Let's take your song and play the song that we have down, and then we can talk about the song and about the inspiration behind the song and the painting. With that?
Sure, I'm good. Wherever you want to go with this, I'm good.
Okay, awesome. So I think the next one we had was, let's see, A May Morning in the Park. Now,
okay.
Yeah, let's just play the song, and then when we come back, you can start talking and tell us about the song.
Sure. Absolutely.
So when it stops,
that's fine.
When it stops, you just talk up, and it would be better than me talking.
I can do that.
Okay, so let's play this, and we'll come right back.
went riding one smart morning in May. Privilege followed us throughout the day, past the fountains and the trees, by the flowers through the breeze. We went riding one smart morning in May. We unnoticingly saw those with less. There were countless opportunities to bless, but our sight was colored rose, which overshadowed these and those. We unnoticingly saw those with less. It's just a May morning in the park, another morning in the park. It's just a May morning in the park, or maybe more. By the blessings we incurred, redundantly we walked with lines blurred, unaware of our surroundings, deaf to the houndings. We were blinded by the blessings we incurred. It's just a May morning in the park, another morning in the park. It's just a May morning in the park, or maybe more. We arrived one May morning in the park, awakened as light overcame the dark, with hearts that were seeing, with words that were freeing. We arrived one May morning in the park. We arrived one May morning in the park.
Well, I should start with each song title. It was actually the title of the painting itself. And in seeing this painting for the first time, I was really taken with the class of the people that were in it, and I think it's a theme that's gone on forever. It goes way back, that the haves sometimes don't notice the have-nots. And I think today it's prevalent just like it was 100 years ago and probably 100 years before that, that sometimes we get so lost in our own world. We get so lost with our belongings that we have and the gifts that we have and the blessings that we have, that we tend to miss those with less, those that probably could or would have a better life if we were more active in it. Caring more, being more compassionate. Paige, from the Consequence album and from the Dig Love album, that I've just really championed trying to create, at least in my little space, in my little pond, so to speak, a more loving and compassionate look at the world. Just that we could get along better and we could care more for each other, and not just kind of stumble over people and just continue to step over them and keep going, to stop and respond in a loving way. And that's what inspired me in the piece of music the most. I wanted, again, a simple melody, almost, this song plays on the guitar just like a simple folk song, with a privileged few that are just moving through their lives, not recognizing anything, and in my cup half full attitude or approach, I'd like to believe at some point on one of those May morning rides through the park that their eyes were open to what they had been missing in days and years past.
It's cool. That was going to be one of my questions on how you put your songs together like that. I mean, was it in a chronological order like that? But as you continue to talk, I am seeing the way it's going.
Yeah, not when I wrote these, I think part of the reasoning in my mind when I wrote these was I wasn't sure what this was going to be. I didn't leave the museum and on the ride home formulate an idea that I'm going to create a conceptual album with these paintings. I just knew that I was inspired by them, and when I went away and started writing, I still wasn't sure how I would use these songs or whether anybody would ever hear them, because the majority of stuff that I hear that I write, people never hear, because I write all the time, and so I never know what's actually going to find its place into the studio, find its place onto an album, and then find itself being played in a live performance. But as I started to write and as I started to put things together, I could see that this was a concept album, that these songs all belonged on the same album, and because they all had a running theme through them. They all had Thomas Aiken's, his blood is running through all these songs in some way or form.
It's awesome. I would think he's probably listening, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Oh, amen. I totally believe that. And I haven't had any kind of spiritual experience that made me think that he was unhappy with it. I'm sure that he's probably overjoyed that 100 years later somebody would be inspired by his work to create something else. I mean, I can only imagine how I would feel 100 years from now if somebody was inspired from a song that I wrote and created a painting from it. That would just be over the top. That's it. How humbling would that be?
Wouldn't that be awesome then? Here you are now, and that might have been what he was thinking. Yeah, that's probably what he was thinking then. I'm sure.
Look, anybody that's a creative, man, we're just trying to create emotions in people. We want people to feel things when they see our work or hear our work, and when it happens, that's a success. It may be something that bitterly strikes them the wrong way and they hate it. Well, we've struck an emotion, and that's why I tell people all the time, if you hear something of mine and you just really hate it, contact me and tell me why. Because my feelings aren't going to be hurt by that. Not everybody's going to like everything that I do, but it just, again, it creates a conversation between people. It just, it's a good thing. It's okay if we don't agree on everything.
Right. But like you said, we're not.
Our politicians need to realize that. I'm sorry?
Yes, I agree. But yeah, we are here to even disagree. I mean, that's okay. So.
Yeah, that's I love a challenge.
Right. I mean, I don't have any disagreement so far, so but I could be fine. I don't know.
Well, we got a few more songs to listen to. There may be one that rubs you the wrong way. We'll see.
All right. Well, let's go on to the next one. I'm not going to give you the title or anything. I'm going to let Eddie explain it in his own words.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
call me cowboy in the badlands, in the desert, in the barrens, in the wasteland. You call me cowboy. You call me cowboy in the badlands, in the desert, in the barrens, in the wasteland. You're not some fool, my outfit, meandering the outfit, believing any topic you set out will interest me, when everyone who has a one would know the truth under the sun and share it in a way that doesn't compromise.
Cowboy in the Badlands. That's one of the first songs I started to take into the studio. And like a lot of the songs here, they changed drastically from my first take on them. Again, I tried to write them with a lot of loose ends and a lot of freedom to go anywhere. And a lot of times when I go into the studio, I'm recording songs that I've already played live. So they have a certain groove or a certain pocket to them. And the arrangement's kind of been formulated a little bit by the way people have engaged in them. And this project really was different. None of these songs had seen the light of day when I went in to start the recording process with them. And being one of the first songs that I recorded, the fact that the song kind of wanted to get away from a simple folk song, and it had these kind of quirky, I heard these kind of quirky old guitar sounds, and it really helped free me up to allow each song on the album to go in whatever direction it needed to go musically. And because of that, there's a few songs on here that sound like they could have been written 100 years ago. And then there's some that don't, and then I'm sure there's a few that people can't figure out where they belong. Because I've never, the song, lyrically for me, this was about perception and labels. And we certainly live in a world of labels, right or wrong. We do that. We just, we want to put things in boxes. And musically, I've always been a little tough to put in a box anyhow to start with, because I've mentioned this before on your show, that I grew up listening to all different kinds of music, and when that becomes part of the fabric of who you are, it comes out in the way you create. Even this project, I spent a month when I was writing things listening to a lot of music from the late 1800s and early 1900s, just because I was looking for not necessarily a sound. I didn't want it to sound like it was recorded and written then, but I was just listening to melodies and harmony back from that time period, trying to find melodies and harmonies that would I'd be able to put into a more current template, if I can use that word. But this is one of my favorites. I can't tell you why. It just makes me smile when I hear it, and the song I'd love to play live in the near future.
I like the vibe. Is that a word?
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it exactly.
I've got the tune in my head now, and it's like it's very catchy, and I can see where it would leave it open for you to continue on with that. I'm not going to sing it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think at some point it has to be one of the single releases from this. I might have done it first, but again, it was because it was quirky. I was kind of talked out of making that the first kind of single from it. So, but somewhere down the line.
But yeah, so far I do like that one. It's and like I said, I still have it in my head. It's kind of a catchy tune. But yeah, I'm not going to sing it for you.
Tonight when you're trying to sleep and it's going over and over in your head, you won't like you liking it so much.
I like it. I mean, right there, and it's going do 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 do. That's the best part of it, I think. I like it. So, yeah. So shall we continue on? Let's see.
Sure.
I have it. Hopefully I didn't leave anything out. Find things in the... I'm looking for it. Let me see.
You got a lot of hats on there, man. You got to wear tonight. You got to wear the host and the producer hat, and
all right.
So you got to balance it all out tonight without losing it.
I thought I had it all together. Let's see. I'm not seeing that one on there. What isn't it? I should have.
What song were you looking for?
The Courtship.
Okay, that's like track. I think it's like maybe 8 or 9.
I'll see in it. Let's see. I may have to go and grab it. I know what I can do. Let's see if it'll work. All I have to do is go in here.
Well, while you're looking, I'll just play a little bit of it.
Yeah. That would be fun.
Until you find it, I'll just kind of go along here.
It's down.
Did you find it?
Yeah, Let's see if it got it in there.
Gazing at the love that blossoms when you're near, pleasing me, meant for me, listening to the voice that calms all my troubles. Found it?
I did.
Angel at my door.
Oh. They make things so easy now. I didn't know that little gadget was in here, but I noticed it not long ago.
Well, there you go. They make simple things now.
All right. No pun intended here, right? Or pun intended, I would say.
Or pun intended.
Yes, we are. All right. So here's this one. Come back.
On the love that blossoms when you're near, pleasingly meant for me, listening to the voice that calms all my troubles, angel at my door, watching as you flow from moment to moment, graciously, beautifully, waiting for the hour that brings us united, blue skies at my door. The courtship is waiting. There's no sign of fading. The spinning wheel spins on and on. The courtship is over, completed moreover. The spinning wheel spinning us on. on the love that blossoms when you're near, pleasingly meant for me. Listening to the voice that comes on my troubles, angel at my door.
Wow, the courtship. Took a while to find it, get it rolling, get it up live, but that's probably the closest thing to a country song or traditional country song I've ever composed. Not exactly the space that I live in, even though the last couple of times I visited you, I've had a couple songs now. Certainly from Dig Love, You Make Me Feel had got a lot of airplay on some country stations, and same thing with the Consequence, which also did. But this one fits right in, and I think what happened with this was this particular painting was I think I was probably taken with the spinning wheel because it's something we don't see. You know, it speaks solely of a certain time in history. It's a piece of culture from a different time period. And I like the idea of passing down culture from generation to generation, whether it's a folk song that, you know, your grandmother sang to your mom that she sang to you, or however that works. So I had somebody listen to this song early on and really liked it, but had no reference point. It was a young woman, and when she saw the paintings, it all came together, you know, because she couldn't figure out but didn't have any idea what that spinning wheel was. But I mean, at its core, it's a love song. You know, at its core, it's just, you know, a simple love song. But this song works on a lot of different levels, and it actually works on a spiritual level for those who live in a spiritual place, and connect that way. I think you'll find within the lyric and within the meaning behind some of the words, you can find a very strong spiritual meaning within the song. I've been pleased with this. This is I think is the second or third single from this. I think there's 4, with the fourth one being Cowboys in the Badlands. I think this is the third one, or will be the third one that gets released from it. But I've had an opportunity to play this out live now a couple of times. I have, well, you know, I've taken some time off when this album was finished back in January. It took about a year to get it finished, and I really just was at a point in my life I needed some time off, and my wife and I headed down south, and I actually spent 4, 5, maybe 6 weeks without picking up a guitar, without doing anything, and I think it really kind of freaked my wife out. I don't think she's ever experienced that with me, but I just really needed to be, you know, to step back, and then I knew that in the first weekend in April, you know, I had this 8-week run where I was, you know, performing a lot and kind of starting to promote the album. And I had a weekend. I just finished a weekend in Virginia Beach at 2 just wonderful places, the Well in Portsmouth and the River Room in Virginia Beach. Just wonderful venues. But I had an opportunity both nights to perform this song and talk a little bit about it, and it felt really good. It was kind of nice to see how people engage with it in a live setting. Like I said, none of these songs had seen the light of day before I recorded them, so it's kind of fun now, kind of offering them up in a live situation, with a live audience.
That would be awesome too. I mean, you're in that venue setting around the beach, and yeah, just there again, the vibe of the song, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I thought one of the things that caught me Friday night, right before I went out. I had light dinner, and I was just in the room, and I was just getting things organized to head over to play, and there were maybe 6 or 7 horseback riders walking down the beach. We had an oceanfront room, and here were these people riding these horses down the beach, and all I could think of were, when the cowboy sings, and thought, wow, maybe is that a sign? Should I be singing that tonight? But but it was an unusual sight. I mean, I was brought up by the Jersey Shore, and there's no horses on the beach in the Jersey Shore. But it's an interesting dynamic that they have in Virginia Beach, that they have that you can go horseback riding right in the surf, which is kind of a cool thing too. Right. But I didn't get a chance to do that, but I did have the opportunity to get a little extra inspiration before I went out to play.
Well, that's something along the lines we talked about last time, and it was like, isn't it awesome that, if you don't have any inclination of what's going to happen or which way you're going to go on a show or what you're going to play or what you're going to sing, that though by the time you get there, things just automatically play into place.
Yeah, when you lose the spontaneity in things, that takes a certain dynamic away. Actually, I believe if the Scott Wister that sent that question is the same Scott Wister, I had a conversation with him probably close to 10 to 15 years ago, when he was part of a worship team. And we were at some kind of pancake breakfast or something after the service, and he made some comment that there was a part of the morning that I went off the program. I kind of, not derailed off it, but was inspired to go somewhere else. And we realized that day that something special happened within the team when that happened, because we were not just reading from a musical chart anymore. We had to spiritually be involved in what was happening at that moment, and it was enormously valuable for me, because it's something that changed my whole approach to whenever I'm in a spiritual place. I want it to be as free as possible, and I want to have built-in areas where the music can go wherever it wants to go. Of course, it's easy when I'm by myself, but when I'm working with my trio or the full combo, I've had to get good seasoned players that could handle me going in any direction at any moment, and have the ability to play a song differently every night if it just felt like it needed to go there. But that ties. I mean, our lives are like that from the time we get up each day. We really don't know what's going to happen. We think we do, and we have plans, and we kind of schedule things, but we're all at the mercy of how the day flows.
Right. And that could be in somebody's life every day, or just that topsy-turvy kind of deal, But,
yeah, well, the things that have stood out in my life, the most memorable things in my life, have all been things that happened out of spontaneity. They weren't things that were planned. It was the unexpected that happened along the way that made them memorable.
And I had wrote, this wasn't really part of the questions that I had down, but I'm like you and some of the others. When I have something pop up in my head, I'll write it down because I want to remember it again. And I was like, is there a song in all walks of life, our lives? Our whole life is a song. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of it, at any given moment, there's a lot of it that hasn't been written yet.
Right. Now let's see what else I had. And this is the last one. Let's go ahead. Now, I know I had this one, so let's see.
We're listening to the dancing lesson?
I keep a lot of, from the other shows that I have, I like to keep my library of music because I play those songs on those shows as well, because it gives us something. It's a relaxing. I play a lot of your songs from the beginning of some of my other shows as well. So, because it's just so relaxing, and it kind of what's the word? It kind of sets the mood, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
So it kind of calms us down, and it kind of, makes us relaxed and things like that. And so I find myself returning back to a lot of your songs because of that. So, but yeah.
Wow, I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's totally awesome. But let's do this one, and we'll come right back. We have plenty of time, so no need to rush.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Stop until we all walk free. Dance, little brother, dance. Sing, little sister, sing to the music. Let your spirit free. Sing, little sister, sing to the music. Lord, have mercy. Ain't gonna stop until we all are heard. Sing, little sister, sing. Ain't gonna stop until we all are heard. Sing, little sister, sing. Hallelujah. Let your spirit free. Lord have mercy. Hallelujah. Let your spirit free. Hallelujah. Lord have mercy.
The Dancing Lesson. Actually, the first single from the album. I think I debuted this on your station 3 or 4 months ago on one of our visits. The Dancing Lesson is a painting that I'm trying to remember now whether it was 2 or 3 generations of an African American family, late 1800s it looks like, I don't know if it was a slave situation or not. It looked very much to me as if this was an oppressed type of family living, and that's what struck me first. That in any time of history, there's always been a group or groups of people that are held down for whatever reason, and a lot of time it's the arts creatively where people get to express what they're feeling and what they're experiencing, and it's kind of a bridge builder, I think. The arts in general are bridge builders between different ethnicities and different religions. And that's what I saw within the song. There was an elderly figure in the background, and then there's a maybe next generation or an older son playing banjo, and there's this young boy being learning culture by dancing. And I just thought what a value that is in each of our lives, to not only to pass again culture, but to encourage each generation to express themselves with whatever gifts that they have. In this case, it was, a young boy dancing, or it could be, his sister singing, or listening and being educated, or whatever it is that your gift is. It doesn't necessarily even have to be in the arts. If whatever your gift is, if it's an academic gift with mathematics or in the sciences, whatever, I think it's important that, we encourage everyone to go after, to succeed, but more importantly, to go after what it is that's on your heart. Go after what it is that is your passion in life, and to not let not let the things that surround you hold you back, because it doesn't matter. It's not always an economic thing. You can be someone of privilege and still have things that are holding you back. Sometimes it can just be your own fears and your own inhibitions and lack of confidence in yourself. But it's a song, again, for me, that works on a couple different levels. Yeah, it works on recognizing that we all have something to say. We all need to be heard. We all need to, live in a peaceful way. And as we're doing that, it certainly speaks to passing down culture from generation to generation. But maybe most importantly, it speaks to following your dream, having the confidence to chase your passion, regardless of how far away it may feel at any given time. We need to go after those things, and it's never too late to do that. It's one thing to do it and to teach it to kids who are just that prime age of school, 5 and 6 years old, and again in middle school and in high school. But as adults, we go through periods of our life where we have the opportunity again to be further educated, or maybe change a career because we have the opportunity to do it. One of the things I've always tried to do from a young man was to prepare myself, kind of shed and work at my trade, so that when opportunities came up, I was able to take them. And that's happened to me 2 or 3 times, where I've stepped into situations that maybe I wasn't completely schooled at or completely prepared for, but I had enough confidence in myself and my abilities that I wasn't afraid to tackle them and kind of jump in and figure it out on the fly. And they've been very what's the word I'm looking for? They've been very rewarding, and in the long run, they've been blessings in my life. So, yeah,
well,
when I
was sitting here reading and going through notes and stuff, and this was one of the first songs that I was introduced, and not one of these first songs, but and when you had sent me the pictures of the paintings and all, and I was sitting there envisioning that song with that painting, I saw it too. I said I could see them up dancing around. You know, I said,
Right.
It works. It really works. It's magic. I don't think the word is ingenious, but
it's
yeah.
There's from a musical context. It really I kind of went out on a limb because there are certain I'm totally comfortable playing guitar. I'm totally comfortable whether I'm playing acoustic guitar or electric guitar. What I'm not really proficient in is playing slide guitar, and that's the dominant hook on this song is that slide guitar, and I brazenly went after it and captured it fairly quickly. I guess, well, they say even a broken clock is right twice a day. I don't know whether it was just dumb luck that I got it as quick as I did, but it was something, you know. Again, it was having the confidence to say I'm going to do this because this is what I hear, and I want this to be on here, and I was the only guitarist in the room, so I went after it, and
you got it.
And but again, it just speaks to, you know, going after your passion in life and not allowing, not going to bed at the end of the night with I should have done this or I wish I would have done that. That's the worst thing in the world. That's a tough way to end your day. It's so easy to do because we have so many opportunities and we generally fail, but I'd like to end the day being thankful and thinking back of all the opportunities that I did take and all the chances I did take, and even if I faltered on them, at least I took them. You know, I went after them, and you know, yeah, at least at the end of the day, you can ride off into the sunset, going, I had my best foot forward. I didn't let anything go by today. I went after it.
Well, that's the same thing with my first radio show debut, you know. I mean, who would have thought it? I never would have in a million years.
There you go. That's a journey in itself. Absolutely. Perfect metaphor.
Well, sometimes I do sit here and I think, but I know I'm in the right spot, but I still continue to think, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Is it what I'm supposed to be doing? Can I do something more? What do you want me to do?
Well, I think that's a healthy approach. Not being in a place, not being in a static place. You know, life is about growing. It's about moving and changing all the time and evolving. So, I think it's important for us to be open to new ideas. Look, this whole album is a departure from me. Departure both in the aspect that it was conceptual. It's the departure in that every song on it was inspired by a painting from 100 plus years ago. It's a departure in that the arrangements and the production is much larger than I'm accustomed to. So these were all, you know, let alone that the last song has some, you know, a departure with me playing slide guitar. But you know, the opportunities present themselves, and you go after them. And it's, for me, it's not always a question of whether it's successful or not. It's a question of, did you go after it? Did you tackle it? Did you experience it? Because if it's not, you know, if it doesn't come off great, that's fine too. Because as I said earlier, not everything, most of the things I write you never see the sun of the day. You know, you know, they're never brought out live into a venue. They're just sometimes they're just for me. It's sometimes I need to write the song, I need to sing it once, and then I need to just move on to the next one, and that's perfectly fine. Not, you know, it's just we live in a world where people judge everything, I think, on the wrong standards. You know, it's not, for me, it's not how many of these albums I'm going to sell. I want to look. I'm an artist and I'm a creative person. I want to touch as many hearts as I could. I mean, if someone gave me the choice of 1,000 people or 10,000 people, I'd say 10,000 people. But but ultimately, that doesn't determine whether it's good or bad, whether it's successful or not. And I think that's a stumbling block that a lot of people have in whatever walk of life, because sometimes we measure success in dollars, and that's not always the healthiest way to do it. Some of the greatest inventions in our society over the years were not created out of the quest for money. They were not, in some of the greatest art pieces of artwork were not created because somebody was looking to make a living at that. Maybe it was just a release. We certainly have a history. We certainly have a history of paintings and that kind of artwork becoming more valuable when the person's gone. After they're gone, then we go back and realize, wow, that was really a great piece of work. Hopefully that artist realized in their own lifetime that they were achieving something, even though the world wasn't experiencing it, or where maybe they weren't able to understand it, or they were at that time judging it by the wrong standards. I always count for me it's just a blessing that each album sells enough and makes enough money that I can do the next one, and that I can support myself as a musician, travel around, play where I want to play, and live a lifestyle that I couldn't imagine any greater thing to do. It's who I am, and I'm blessed that I get to do it for a living.
Well, this is a 12-song album by Eddy Mann, titled Simple Things. It is, it was just, when you released that album and I started reading everything and putting things together, I really like the way this is going. I like the feel of it, or the vibe, if that's the word to use. Keep using that word, and this is Eddy Mann, right? You say that?
Yeah, it is. Anyone that knows me, or anyone that has followed me for any period of time, they realize pretty quickly that I'm completely transparent about who I am and what I believe. I'm a very spiritual man. I've had the opportunity to spend time leading people in worship at different, in no particular church, but in every kind of church. Just because I have always had a message that was centered on a loving lifestyle and a compassionate way to live life. The world's not always not always shining in that area, but I've had ups and I've had downs, and I've had my valleys, and I'm aware of it. I try to keep an eye out for it. I know if I'm getting too high, I know I'm going to be coming down. I know I'm not as good as my best song. I know I'm not as bad as my worst. Somewhere in the middle, I've been able to find a niche, and like I've said it a million times, that I'm a blessed man, that I get to do what I do, and that I have a platform, and that for whatever reason there are a portion of people that are fed or inspired or lifted, or for whatever reason care what it is that's hopefully passing through me on to them. And I'm happy with that, I really am. I don't, if opportunities present themselves, I'm going to jump at them, and hopefully I will continue to follow a journey that leads me to wherever it is I'm supposed to be in this lifetime. Hopefully I can reach the people I'm supposed to reach, and all the while knowing that, not everybody's going to, not everybody's going to like anything. We had spent, before we came north, as I said, we had spent some time down in Florida, and someone caught up with me down there and was all excited about. They didn't know who I was or what I did, and all of a sudden they realized that what I was doing was I was going to this particular, I guess you could call it a clubhouse type of room, a large great sounding soundproof room, and I was using that room to rehearse late at night. I would go down around 11:30 at night and open this place up, and I would go in there and put the dimmest light on, and I would rehearse because I hadn't played for 6 weeks, and I knew I was coming back out on the road to play a little bit and heading back north, and I wanted to get my voice back and work out some arrangements for these new songs. So I was kind of hiding out late at night, and people that were walking their dogs were checking it out. And a gentleman came up one night and was talking to me, and then someone else who was walking their dog said, "Well, that's Eddy Mann," and they must have went online and found some stuff. So the next day when I was walking through the community, he grabbed me down and said, "Hey, I heard about the new album and there's all this stuff," and was all excited for me. And I said, "Big fish in a little pond," I said, "That's all it is." Right. And I said, at one point in all of our lives, sometimes many times, we may get multiple points, but we get to be big fish in little ponds, And whatever your job is, whatever you do, there's always those moments when you're the big fish in your own little pond, and that's life. That's life for most of us. The majority. Yeah, well, the majority of us live a life that's pretty much under the radar, and I think that's a good thing. I don't know that I'd want my face in all the tabloids and stuff like that. I may like it for 24 hours, and I may like that I'm getting a little more money from my artwork or my creation and stuff like that. But I don't think I'd like to live there because I'm really comfortable in my skin and who I am now. So maybe a short dose. Maybe give me a week of that, maybe. but I'm comfortable who.
But that's well paid for, though. That is something. When you give good, you get good.
Well, I believe somebody a long time, well, maybe within the past 5 or 6 years, somebody came up to me and said, "You are really seasoned," and I thought that was a nice thing to say. I've been doing this my whole life, and I'm totally comfortable with who I am and what I do. I'm not. I don't get nervous about doing anything because there's no front. I'm not going to say or do anything that's going to embarrass myself because that's just who I am. Some days I'm on, some days I'm off. Sometimes I sound brilliant, sometimes I sound downright dumb.
I couldn't imagine that.
Things come out of my mouth and I go, "Man, where did that come from? Did I actually say that?" Hopefully not too often, but it happens. I'm as human as the next person. I'm as broke as the next person is.
I couldn't imagine you saying anything off or out of the way that was kind of out there.
I guess we spend enough time together. I will.
You will.
Ask my wife; she'll tell you. Ask Susan; she'll be glad to tell you.
We may just have to do another show, Susan, with all things Eddy Mann again. that was pretty fun, actually. So, but yeah.
might be for you guys.
But yeah. Now, do you have? I know you just finished this, and it's probably a time to relax for Eddy Mann after all this hard work that has paid off. Are you in the process of working on anything else?
Well, you're getting to know me pretty good. Yeah, I've got about 8 songs in the can for a new worship album. I haven't released a worship album in going on 3 or maybe 4 years now. And I've written quite a few things that I've been playing at different events, concerts, coffee houses, where actual services over the past 3 plus years, and I've got, like I said, 7 or 8 are finished songs that are. I'm not sure what the album will look like yet. I'm going to spend some time when I'm while I'm up north home here in my home studio, and continue to lay down tracks for that. And it's possible I could release that in the spring, depending, or rather in the fall, depending how what happens during the summer months. But yeah, I'm always working, always writing, always trying to. I'm always trying to catch up.
Right.
So, but it's a nice place to be. I'm never bored. There's always, there's always something else on my mind that I want to do. Another, I open up the studio, I'm good to go.
And that's the same way with me. It's always something you can be doing. Well, I do want to congratulate you on their Simple Things album. I mean, it was well laid out, thought out plan, if that was the case. But obviously it wasn't. But we do appreciate you coming on, and I was really excited about this show tonight.
Well, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate the support, and this was a nice way to do it. I'm actually obviously doing some promo now going forward, and I haven't had the opportunity to just. It's rare to have an opportunity like this to take 5 or 6 songs, and just be able to play them and talk about them a little deeper than you normally get a chance to do that. So I appreciate the format you did tonight. That was a lot of fun for me, and hopefully it was for your listeners.
I hope so too. It was for me. I was sitting here today trying to think of a way that we could do that, and so just at the last minute was like, oh, okay. I mean, it's probably like yourself, it just kind of fell in. I said, oh, we'll just do that, and yeah, it can work out fine.
Oh, there you go. It's exactly what we were talking about earlier. We make plans, and then life just kind of gets in the way, and you got to learn to just go with the flow.
Yep. We do make things complicated as humans.
I'm into that.
Yeah. Well, I do thank you again. I know we're down to 4 minutes. Why don't we go out with Cavalry in the Badlands? I do that. I'm going to have that song in my head tonight.
That's awesome. Yep. I'm good with that.
Well, you are welcome back anytime, Eddie, on my show. So anytime. I am booked up through August. It's awesome. So I want to thank everybody out there who keeps us in tune and keeping us going. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
In a good place. So let's close out with that, and we will. Oh, we're back here tomorrow night, same place, same time. See who I have tomorrow night. Danny Kinsey. So be sure and follow us and come back and go and check out Eddy Mann's new album. Tell them, I guess you can tell them one more time where they can find the album and things like that.
Yeah. My website is eddymann.com, EDDYMANN, and you can find all the social links on there. But I'm on Facebook at eddymann.musician, and Twitter and Instagram at Eddy_man. And I always encourage people to correspond with me, whatever social platform they're the most comfortable with. I love being in conversation with people, whether you like something or don't like it. Let me know what you're feeling.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, and let's go out with Cowboy in the Badland. And we hope that our listeners have enjoyed the show tonight. I really did. Thank you again, Eddie.
I did too. Thanks, Paige.
All right. Good night, everybody. Let me find it. All right.
call me cowboy in the badlands, in the desert, in the barrens, in the wasteland. You call me cowboy. You call me cowboy in the badlands, in the desert, in the barrens, in the wasteland. I'm not naive to think you mean it, 'cause you say it's sweet that all you really want is what's best for me. You're seemingly in satisfaction, speaking in a tone distraction, dressing everything about me down below my knees. You call me cowboy. You call me cowboy in the badlands, in the desert, in the barrens, in the wasteland. You call me cowboy. You call me cowboy in the badlands, in the desert, in the barrens, in the wasteland. You're not some fool, my outfit, meandering the optic, believing any topic you spit out will interest me, when everyone who has a one would know the truth under the sun and share it in a way that doesn't compromise. So saddle up and dig your pony. Don't dismiss the lost and lonely. Everyone can be the only one in their life that understands the daunting strife, that knows the blade that fits the knife, that cuts so deep that makes you weep and then it walks away. You call me cowboy. You call me cowboy in the badlands, in the desert, in the barrens, in the wasteland. You call me cowboy. You call me cowboy in the badlands, in the desert, in the barrens, in the wasteland.
At Outback Steakhouse, we're grilling up our newest creation. It's 1 part steak and 1 part ribs. 2 parts incredible. Only Outback can pair our tender center-cut sirloin with fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs with prices starting at $15.99. Try your ribs with our signature barbecue sauce or with our new dry rub or honey sriracha sauce. But hurry in, a combo with flavors this bold won't last long. Make dinner delicious tonight. Head to Outback Steakhouse at 3585 Atlanta Highway in Athens. Aussie rules.